Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I love this story. This is one of my favorites. Two guys, one old and one young, are pushing their carts around Walmart. When they collide, bang, they hit each other. The old guy says to the young guy, "Oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm looking for my wife, and I guess I wasn't paying attention to where I was going." The young guy says, "That's okay. It's a coincidence. I'm looking for my wife, too. I can't find her, and I'm getting a little desperate." The old guy says, "Well, maybe I can help you find her. What does she look like?" The young guy says, "Well, she's 27 years old, tall, red hair, blue eyes, long legs, and is wearing short shorts." "What does your wife look like?" To which the old guy says, "Doesn't matter. Let's look for yours." Hey, good morning. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America, followed by a patriot to call in with a Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, good morning. Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and, of course, some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call, get on the route service, 734-6969. Right now, let's have a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless you, and thank you for calling in. Have a wonderful day and a great weekend.
You too. God bless you, and the same right back.
All right. Thank you so much, Linda. Very, very nice lady right there. Hey, it's time for the weather, and the weather brought to us by K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Number to call. Put this on your refrigerator in big black ink, 678-3122. They're open Monday through Friday, 7 to 5:30. And Saturdays, 7 to 2. They've got all the tools and equipment you need for any kind of a job, so stop over to K&R Rental, from forklifts all the way to lawnmowers. And they've been in business since 1979. And they know what to do to help you. K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. And right now, here's the weather.
Here is your weather for this Thursday as we get ready to saddle up and ride again. Partly cloudy skies for today, expecting a high of 82. Wind steady out of the west, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles an hour. Tonight we are expecting clear skies with a low of 54. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies in the morning, followed by scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. Possible rain showers as well, about a 60% chance. Looking at a high of 66 with an overnight low of 46. And as we get on into the weekend on Saturday, mostly sunny skies, high of 69. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Very well done, Gina, as always. Thank you very much. And weather brought to you by Roger and the crew at K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn. The number to call, 678-3122. Boy, they've got all your tools, all your equipment at K&R Rental. Thank you very much. Merv May, come on in here. Let's sell some cattle. Good morning.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, and 32, 2.5.
That's the chant of the world's best doggone auctioneer, and that's Merv May over at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard with sale time today at 11 o'clock at 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. For sale information and cattle consignment, 678-9411. That number again, 678-9411. Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy, the sale that works for you. Right now we know that Ward Dairy in Burley's bringing in about 50 to 60 head of 850 to 950 Holstein steers. Moog Brody up at Arco. Hey, how's everybody up by Craters of the Moon? Semi-load of butcher cows coming in, and other butcher cows coming in from P-Bar S Dairy, Bootjack Dairy over in Shoshone, Acme Dairy, and Oak Valley Dairy. You bet, going to be a ripping good sale along with the trailer line run at 11 a.m. at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, 678-9411. The sale that works for you. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, and 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, and 5.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, and sell them $1.35. Zeb Bell gets bottom again.
Oh, man. Merv, thank you very much. And don't forget, of course, on Saturday, the Relay for Life, Minnecasia Relay for Life, is going to take place and to garner funds, raise money to fight the dreaded disease of cancer and all of its various forms. And I really urge you to contribute and participate at Burley High School on the track. And it's from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Minnecasia Relay for Life with the theme, One Wish, Two Wish, You Wish, I Wish for a Cure. That's coming up on this Saturday, June 10th. Wow, we've got a lot of things to talk about here this morning. Normally I schedule about 6 or 7 different stories that I've got to get on the air every morning, but oh my goodness, I've got 9 of them this morning. Can't wait to get started. Hang on. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 678-0459. For all your heating and cooling and electrical needs, they can help and they will help you. They're open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday, and they've got all your air conditioning filters too to make sure you stay cool. Yeah, stay cool this summer. Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. By the way, I want to say that the last couple of days I have been on a self-imposed don't eat hardly anything diet. Not really by choice, but it's just been the way we've been running. We haven't had time to even have lunch or dinner. I mean, it's been terrible. I wish we were a little bit closer to Denny's restaurant at 611 North Overland in Burley, the home of America's Diner. Have you checked out all those new burgers they have at Denny's restaurant? I'm going to tell you something right now. I guarantee you will thank me if you go in and try one of those delicious new burgers. Or if you're like me, you're a breakfast nut. I love breakfast. They've got great breakfast menus ready for you at Denny's restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley and 291 Poline Road in Twin Falls, America's Diner, and it's the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch. All right, calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Let's start things off this morning talking a little bit about Trump and his speeches yesterday in Ohio. President Trump was talking about health care, and he was talking about the renovation of our infrastructure yesterday. And they track all of his speeches for how it goes down with the liberal left, the Democrats, the independents, and the Republican Party. Well, here is what I saw yesterday. The Republicans rated his speeches on health care and the new health care plans and the infrastructure and the renovation of our roads and bridges, etc. The Republicans gave him an A+. The line went right up to the top. The independents, now this is interesting, the independents gave Donald Trump an A to maybe an A minus and a B plus. They were really high on what he had said. But then along comes the Democrats. F. I'm serious. They want to stand in the way of everything. They are the obstructionist party. They are the party of no. They are the party of get nothing done. They are the party of hurting the American people. And if somebody takes offense at that, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. F. Yeah, the Democrats, nothing but foot draggers and hurting all the rest of us. And I'm going to make a prediction right now. And if I'm wrong, I'll apologize. But I'm predicting in 2018, next year, the midterm elections, I'm predicting, and quite frankly, I'm hoping, that common sense and decency might start to rear its head again and destroy the Democratic Party. They don't have a platform. They don't have a platform of common sense or any valuable material or family-oriented material or job-oriented material. They don't have anything. Nothing. They are the party of no. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Caller, I'll be right with you. Don't forget, Barry Equipment and Rental. Sales, service, and parts, they have all the equipment to get the job done right. And the locations are South Lincoln in Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. I want to talk a little bit about lawnmowers here this morning. Holy buckets, they've got the Walker mowers. 0% interest for 48 months. Use what the pros use and have a good time mowing your lawn. Absolutely. Walker mowers at Barry Equipment and Rental. Again, South Lincoln and Jerome, Addison Avenue West in Twin, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. They have all the equipment to get the job done right at Barry Equipment and Rental. Caller, good morning and thank you.
Good morning to you, Zeb. I want to state how impressed I am with our president. And here's why. You know, he's done a good job of going against the grain, which doesn't mean anything as far as I'm concerned. But the point that I want to get across this morning is that our president of the United States, is an employer in the government, and the cabinet is his employees. Isn't it only fair that he should stick up for one of his employments, no matter what the situation is, unless he's guilty as can be?
Yep.
And I just think this Comey deal, where he asked him, to back off on the investigation on Flynn, I don't know whether that's what he said or not. This guy's lied before, so we don't know. But I am so proud of the president for sticking up for his employees. If someone said something bad about Wheels, wouldn't you come to his defense?
Oh, there's no question. I mean, anybody that works for me and is trying to work for me and doing a good job for myself or my company, and I hear anybody berate them or belittle them, they're going to have a real problem with a 6-foot-tall, 220-pound man on crutches. I'll guarantee you that. I'll stand up for all my family, I stand up for my friends, and I stand up for my employees. There's no question about that.
Have proven that, Zeb, and I think that's what President Trump is trying to do. He is standing behind those who work for him.
Absolutely.
By golly, these obstructionists, they're just doing anything to slow down this process.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we can't get anything done.
Well, I agree with you, and I just think this party of no, this party of we're going to do everything we can to derail Donald Trump. We're going to do everything we can to stop his being an administrator of ideas, thoughts, and concepts that will help America. The Democrats are going to suffer, and I'm telling you, Keith, I'll stand behind my prediction. I think it is going to wave them out of office in 2018, and I'm not going to shed a tear.
I would like that.
All right, my friend. God bless you. Thank you for your call. Thank you so much, Keith. God bless. Thank you very, very much. Wheels, can you bump it up on my feed line just a touch this morning, if you would, please? It's just a little faint. Either that or my ears aren't working right. I don't know. But anyway, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. I'm going to be talking in just a minute about Al Green. Do you know who he is? We'll talk about it in a minute. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. And the number to call, 678-1191. Nick Greenwell heads up all the physical therapists there that really know their job with exercising and the sports medicine and the hydrotherapy pool, the only one of its kind in the area. Oh, boy. They want you to get back to being you and feeling like you. So call for an appointment today at 678-1191. That number again, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Call them today. Okay. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, hang on just a second. There's going to be a real deal coming up on Saturday. And I want to tell you about this because it is with Sportsman's Warehouse, and they're having their annual, it's going to be their great big Western Sportsman's Warehouse Outdoor Shooting Expo, and it's going to be on this Saturday from 9 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon at the Jerome Gun Club on Highway 93. And they're going to have representatives there from Colt and Smith & Wesson and Glock, and you can literally try the guns out before you buy the guns. Admission is free, and there's a small minimal charge for ammunition. So please don't forget this. The Sportsman's Warehouse Outdoor Shooting Expo, June 10th, this Saturday, 9 to 4 at the Jerome Gun Club. Going to be a lot of fun and very interesting. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There's a Democrat from Texas, and you know, I'm gonna shield a little bit more information about this guy. I'm gonna let you folks look him up and find out about him, his personality, and really what he has done or not done while he has represented the state of Texas. I'm just going to say simply, without any other information about the man, he's a moron. Al Green, Democrat from Texas, he is right now this morning starting to write the reasons and the articles of impeachment against Donald Trump. Now, what does that tell you about some of these Democrats? They are like crazed, rabid dogs that can see nothing of letting Trump have at least 4 years in the presidency. They're going to do everything they can to blow up the road, put potholes in the road, absolutely put roadblocks up, and there's no proof of any wrongdoing. There's no proof. I listened to one of these crazy Democrats last night on Tucker Carlson, and I'm guaranteeing you, when he was pressed, he couldn't come up with it. Well, yeah, we think there's a lot of smoke and that there's a fire burning there. Yeah, we think there's... You don't know a doggone thing. All you're doing is just stopping progress in America. Show me the proof. The one thing on this program that I've harped about since its very beginning, I will not put any story on the air, nothing, nada, that is not 100% verified. And yet they waste our time. They're working for us, and they're not doing a thing. They put on their three-piece suit in the morning and their wingtip shoes, and they go to the halls of the House or the Senate, and they do nothing but gripe, manipulate, and do nothing. And this guy last night, when he was pressured about, well, where's the proof? Well, we think there's a lot of smoke. And then this one woman said, oh, yeah, there's a lot of smoke, and when there's smoke, that means fire. Well, kind of let the smoke phase out a little bit. and then find the facts, which the Democrats can't find. And if you find a fire, I will be the first one, I promise you, to apologize. Absolutely. But this pitiful Democrat from Texas, Al Green, already this morning in his office on his constituents' time, writing up the reasons and the articles of impeachment for this President Donald Trump, when there are so many more things that need to be addressed and accomplished. These people are pitiful. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I almost, I didn't say I did, but I feel almost sorry for these Democrats. Ag Express is looking for drivers, and they want to fill full and part-time positions. That's hard to say. And they're looking also for retired folks. They'll work around their schedules 2 or 3 days a week, whatever works best for you. And you're home every night and you drive new and maintained equipment. They've got great vacation schedules, benefit programs. Oh, yeah, you better get a hold of them today. Dale and Paul at 438-8886. Alan in Twin Falls at 731-2495. Russ in Burley at 431-7175. It's true. Ag Express is looking for drivers. Ag Express is looking for you. Absolutely. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Did you hear that this 25-year-old woman, reality winner, that's the name she goes by, she got a hold of her mother yesterday. And, let's back up for those that don't associate the name with the crime. Reality winner is nothing more than a traitor. She is nothing more than a traitor to this country, you and me, by leaking information that was absolutely classified, top secret information, and should have not been out for public scrutiny. She is a traitor. And I certainly hope of all the experts that have made their statements, she could get possibly as much as 10 years in prison. I hope she does. That's not being cruel. That's not being heartless. She broke the law, and it's about time we crack down on these lawbreakers that do things that are traitorous against this country and give her the full extent of punishment. 10 years in prison, but yesterday... I got to cry a little bit for her. Yesterday, she was telling her mother how scared she is for the trouble that she's in. You see, right there, folks, is what we talk about and preach about on this program. You do something, it was a choice, not a mistake. There's a big difference. She made a choice to leak that information. She made that choice to say vile, dirty things about the president. She made that choice to break the law. And now she's got to pay. And she's scared. She should be. And it's a little too late. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. A little bit later on in the program this morning, we're going to have Dr. Christine Pickup from Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids on, and she's going to be talking about that great big Sounds of Summer scavenger hunt, with the grand prize being $500 off a pair of mid-level or premium hearing aids. You better stop over to the store, the office, and pick up your contest card. That's right, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, right across from the Minidoka Hospital emergency room, and the number to call for a hearing screening, 312-0957. You call them today. Okay. Come on, folks. Now it's your turn. Don't you dare let me down. Give me a call, and we'll talk about any subject. Sometimes on Thursdays I've noticed the trend, I think people kind of relax a little bit, and they're looking forward to Friday and get out of Dodge. Well, anyway, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. If you haven't heard about this next story, you need to pay attention. if you are from California, I'd love to have some people call me that escaped the chaos in California and saw the light and moved out of that state of California with its politics. It's a beautiful state, and there are lots of great people there. But the politics and the politicians are nuts. But I'd like to have some California people call me this morning. What's happening is this. Governor Jerry Brown, you know, old Moonbeam, Governor Jerry Brown of California is making a green pact, an agreement similar to the Paris Accord, on his own with China. Oh, wait a minute. Back up the bus for a minute, Gus. You're parked on a manhole cover. Jerry Brown, the governor of California, is acting like California is a country to itself and forgetting that they are a part of the United States of America. And Jerry Brown is making a green energy pact agreement, like I said, comparable to what the Paris Accord would have done with China. Yeah, it's going to be signed, sealed, and delivered, Jerry Brown and China. Now, there was some really dorky Democrat last night on Tucker Carlson that said California, now bear these words out, this is a paraphrase, but this is what he said last night. California is the leader of our nation for doing the right things. Chew on those words for a moment, please. California is the leader of our nation for doing the right things. Here is a state that is up to its eyes in debt. Here is a state that is absolutely so liberal with their stupid policies and the gimme mentality, they will never balance the books. They're so deep in the red, they're probably going to ask for financial help to become solvent, for all of us to kick in our tax dollars and bring them out of the hole, much the same as what might happen in the state of Illinois. And California, with their tax problems, their economical problems, and their reliance on other people's money to try to get out of this mess. And then this dorky Democrat last night says that California is the leader of our nation for doing the right things? Oh, please. Somebody call me that used to live there. Tell me about your wonderful governor, good old Moonbeam, Governor Jerry Brown. Jerry, please turn yourself out to pasture. This is ridiculous. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, give me a call. While I'm waiting for your call that I know is being dialed right now, I can feel it. I got the vibration. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center at 924 Christian Way in Rupert. The number to call, 436-3200. They make every effort to make Autumn Haven the best place for your loved ones. And they invite the public to visit the facility anytime for tours and just check them out. They're the only locally owned and operated assisted living facility in the Mini-Cassia area, and they really take care of their folks over there. They've got barbecues on the patios, and they go to various community events. They're small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center in Rupert, 436-3200. You call them today. Right now, call me. I'd love to have you on the air. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While you mull over that story about California, something happened on television last night. I did not see this live because I don't like award shows. I'm not into that. I'm either going to turn the TV on for news or sports or old Western movies. That's it. You're not going to get anything from me. That's all. And last night was the Country Music Awards, and I admit they have a lot of great music. Hold on, caller, I'm a-coming. A lot of great music. I love country music. I thrive on country music. But last night, the host, they showed the excerpts this morning on the news. The host was wearing a male onesie. Yeah, a onesie. That is a short-sleeve shirt and shorts in a one-piece outfit. And you gotta wonder about these guys. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, I just had my breakfast. That's kind of sickening. Anyway, the sad thing about California is they are a wonderful state. There is so much that comes out of California that is good. Fruits and nuts, for one thing, and that's not the people. But where does California become so liberal as opposed to the rest of the nation? Because they live on all of our dollars. If we weren't spending money on the things that they produce, they'd be up a creek.
Well, yeah, but answer this for me, my dear, and you've been involved in politics and have run for public office and everything. Where do they get the idea that our United States Constitution affords them the luxury and the convenience of making deals with foreign countries on their own as a state?
I don't know. And Jerry Brown, how long has he served?
Too long.
Too long. But you know what? He obviously serves them the way they want to be served. And I think it's going to take somebody mighty amazing to move him on.
Well, you know something, though, Chris? I can honestly say this. Do you know, let me ask you this question first. Do you know a lot of people from California?
Not very many.
Okay, I do. I know a lot of them because I rodeoed all over that state. And I can honestly tell you that the pockets of liberalism are in Los Angeles, are in Sacramento, and San Francisco. When you go to towns like Red Bluff, California, Bakersfield, California, anywhere else, Modesto, anywhere, it is extremely conservative, and they don't like what the big boys up in their state capital are trying to do.
The sad thing is the numbers get the results.
Yep.
And those three cities that you named probably has more population than the rest of the state.
It does. But, you know, when you go just 85 miles from L.A. up to Bakersfield, and I know this because I did that rodeo at Bakersfield for like 20 years, the animosity against liberalism, and I mean we're talking really redneck area of Bakersfield, they can't stand what's going on in their state.
And I, you know what? How do they fight it? How in the world do they fight it? Because it's population that does the voting. And those three cities that you named, now, they're all liberal mayors and the whole works, but the outlying parts have conservative leadership, and yet they probably are overwhelmed too when they go to the Congress or to their Senate and their representatives in California, because even at that, those three cities have majority rule almost.
Yeah, and never on my program will I ever denigrate the citizenry outside of those three major cities. I've got too many friends involved in, like I said earlier, the rodeo business, of course, the horse business, the cattle business, and I love the people. They're very dear friends of mine, and I know that they're suffering down there with the absolute stupidity that's being cast upon them by Jerry Brown and others.
Well, and you know, it's the cities that wag the dog, not the dog that wags the tail, whatever. And yet, it is wonderful that there are still a majority of the people in the state that have normal thinking processes.
Absolutely. Hey, well,
When you drink the water in San Francisco, it seems to do something.
I agree with that. Let me ask you a quick question. I want to revert back to a story I had a moment ago, and I want to get a lady's perspective on this. Do you think I was harsh in my assessment of that 25-year-old traitor reality winner? I said that she should suffer everything the law has and will afford her for her being a traitor to the United States. Do you disagree with me?
I don't think that it should be gender specific. If she was a traitor to our country, she deserves the very same thing that happened to, what's the most famous traitor that...
Well, Snowden or anybody else that they... Yeah, I mean, anybody that does anything that's going to impede or hurt.
Dark cell all by herself for a long period of time.
Right. Absolutely. Chris, thank you for your call, and this is amazing. This is the second time that you've called, and your great big grandfather clock is not chong, chong in the background.
You know what? I must have phoned that because it's going to be going off in about 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, come on, give me a call. Katie Couric, remember her, the sweet little former cheerleader that worked for NBC in the Today program? Oh, cute little Katie with a big smile. America's sweetheart. Everybody loves Katie. Not me, and not many people anymore, because Katie Couric is a liar, she is a fraud, and she is a deceiver. I'll tell you what she did. And I'm going to give a kind of a round-robin approach to this and not really get down to all the specifics because I don't have time. But I'm saying that shame should be heaped upon her for altering and editing. Remember those words. Altering and editing a tape for her anti-gun TV segment. Katie Couric thinks that they should come basically to your door and my door and pick up all of our guns and then sit there and go, you're a bad American because you own guns. Well, she actually deleted answers from people on a video they were making for a TV segment to make the people on the screen look stupid and inept. Well, this gun group decided, well, this isn't going to work. We've got to have a lawsuit against Katie Couric and the network and everything for deleting answers and not telling the truth. So they filed a lawsuit. And it's still not settled yet. I think they're going to try to get an appeal on this thing with another judge, and I'll tell you why momentarily. But the judge, even though it was proven, and Katie Couric finally came out and admitted that they deleted answers about guns on the video, a judge came in and says, wow, that's all right. I'm going to side with Katie Couric. It's okay, Katie. Don't worry about it. And the gun group is furious, and rightfully so. And you want to hear something more about the judge? Oh, okay. The judge was appointed to his position by Barack Obama. It seems like the good old boy network, the liberal philosophy, the anti-gun stand supersedes the law and our Constitution. That's okay, Katie. You misled and duped the American public with a falsified interview that did not give the whole context of what was said in the tape. But that's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm the judge. We'll let it go. That's pathetic. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Riverview Urgent Care, 382 North Overland and Burley. Twin Falls Urgent Care, 2392 Addison Avenue East in Twin. And Jerome Urgent Care, 133 West Avenue A in Jerome. Yes, it's true. Minor emergencies, major care. Fell off the ladder, Bunky, or maybe you got cut while you were trimming the trees. Holy smokes, minor emergency, major care. They're open 7 days a week. Caller, I'll be with you in just a second. Let's hear Gina with the weather.
Here is your weather for this Thursday as we get ready to saddle up and ride again. Partly cloudy skies for today, expecting a high of 82. Wind steady out of the west, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles an hour. Tonight we are expecting clear skies with a low of 54. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies in the morning, followed by scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. Possible rain showers as well, about a 60% chance. Looking at a high of 66 with an overnight low of 46. And as we get on into the weekend on Saturday, mostly sunny skies, high of 69. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Oh, my goodness sakes, the doctor will see you now, not in 4 or 5 days. Absolutely at the Urgent Cares. Riverview Urgent Care in Burley, Twin Falls Urgent Care in Twin, and Jerome Urgent Care in Jerome. They specialize in minor emergencies with major care. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb.
Hello, Tony.
Most of our major problems that are going on is that many of our cities are turning into foreign countries.
That's true.
I've been through it back east and been through it living in California, and I don't see anything going to be changed drastically in the future.
Well, when you look at the situation today of mayors like de Blasio and other nincompoops that defy federal law and say that they're going to remain sanctuary cities and they're not going to follow any edicts by the federal government, etc. Yeah, they're trying to be little pieces and parcels unto themselves. And quite frankly, I wish the Trump administration would come hammer down on those people and let them realize that what they're doing is illegal and they pay the price.
Well, many of these politicians that are senators and congressmen, they took an oath when they took office to protect our country no matter what. The structocrats that we've got out there are doing exactly the opposite. They hate one man, which is Trump, and they're willing to destroy an entire country because of personal feelings about somebody that's doing something that Barack Obama had 8 years to do and didn't do a damn thing.
Yeah. You know, Tony, you were one of the people, and I want to salute you. I want to give you a whole bunch of credit this morning, that back in 2007 when the Democrats came after me, local, state, national, and they called me a racist and a bigot and everything, you stood up for me. You wrote a letter in the paper condemning the Democrats for their actions and absolutely supporting me. And I want to say thank you to you. I never, ever came out and said anything that was not the truth about Barack Hussein Obama. And the Democrats couldn't stand it. And they were livid, just like they are now. And they will stoop to any measure to go after people.
Well, what's happening now in some of our cities, I've already been through over 50 years ago. And unless something drastic happens, this country's going down.
I just can't imagine the 8 years we had with Obama. And no, I did not like the man. No, I did not like his ideology. No, I did not like his politics. But never once on the radio did I ever demean and lower my standards by running him down as a president of the United States. I didn't like what he was doing. I stated my opinions. But right now, this total blockade of trying to help America get back on its feet again by the Democrats, I hope they suffer.
Well, I hope the American people come together, and even the ones in the Democratic Party, just look at the situation we're facing right now. We are going to be overtaken by the Muslims, and I don't care if the Muslim people out there don't like it, what I just said. And it's coming to truth if we don't stick together, Democrats and Republicans. So far, the two parties seem to be fractured.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
What do we do?
I don't know. It's frustrating. It's really frustrating because Literally, the Democrats have caused a wastage of the first 6 months of this, Trump presidency. Boy, did I bite my lip. And we can't afford another waste of 6 months. We've got to get the ball rolling downhill right now. Trump wants to help out with the infrastructure and get things going. He wants to make sure that we get a good health care plan. He wants to work on a budget with tax reform. And I'm saying it's about time to use the nuclear option of going with 51 votes. Tell the Democrats they've got two alternatives. If you stand in the way, we're going to knock you down and step over you.
Well, Trump has done in 3 months more than Obama's done in 8 years.
No question.
So, what does that tell people?
Absolutely. Tony, you're a dear friend. God bless you and Mary. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, thank you, Zeb.
Thank
Bye.
you. Tony's 100% right. And there was a man that he's got convictions, and he's quite frankly got a lot of guts. And he stood up for me, and I will always stand up and say thank you to him. Thank you. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. In a couple of news briefs here this morning, Barbara Bush, yes, former First Lady, 92 years old today. Happy birthday to Barbara Bush. And let's see what else have we got going on. Oh, my goodness. Golden State Warriors over the Cleveland Cavaliers last night, and now they lead in the championship series 3-0. Honestly, I thought that because the series had moved to Cleveland, I honestly thought that the Cleveland Cavaliers would win that game last night. With the emotion and the home court advantage, I thought that they would win. They did not. And I'm telling you what, I don't think you're going to see this thing go. They might win the next game, but it's going to end in 5 games. Golden State, absolutely with too much firepower. Wow, they are good. They set the record last night for the most three-pointers in the first quarter of any championship series. They can play, they can shoot, and they can win. And let's see what else we got. Oh, I'm going to gripe a little bit about the Times News. Can you imagine that? They do not put any effort at all at the Times News into making sure that they put the news in there that's the news. Here's the paper for this morning, Thursday. And they don't update anything on their sports page. I am a sports nut. I admit that. Maybe you're not. But I follow the Major League Baseball standings religiously. And they ran the wrong results. They didn't even have the results of Wednesday's games in Thursday's paper. I mean, why can't you people update things and have a sports writer and a sports editor that goes, whoa, wait a minute. We're running the results of Tuesday's games in the Thursday paper, and we're highlighting the future games on Wednesday in the Thursday paper. That don't look right. Well, it isn't. It's a very, very sloppily run newspaper. Let's take a look right now at what's going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, where doing the right thing matters. It really means a lot to them to be number one in service to you. They have the best of tires, pickup and SUV tires, car tires, boat trailer tires, horse trailer tires, everything right there for your safety in driving. And, of course, the best in trained technicians with brake service and front end alignments, shocks and struts, batteries. Boy, those are important. You know, you got to have a good battery. You don't want to turn that key on someplace and whoop, whoop, whoop. You're not going anywhere. Make sure that you've got the best. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, and, of course, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Proline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Yup, they are the best. Your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers. Okay, I think we've got everything covered here. Let me make sure. Right about now, they are, I believe, in full swing on the James Comey hearings. They're underway. And I really do mean this. Hopefully for all of America. Hopefully for all Americans. They will answer the questions, and everything will be sorted out, and then maybe the crybaby Democrats will start to go off into the corner with their box of Kleenex, shut up, and let this country be managed so that, yes, we can make America great again. Coming up next hour, we've got a chamber report at 9:06, and then followed by my old buddy Tony McCammon with It's Time to Grow from the University of Idaho. And then at 9:30, Rita Ramsey. I always look forward to having Rita on the air. She doesn't pull any punches. I love her for it. And then later on this morning, Cassia County School Days, Debbie Critchfield, Business Salute with Dr. Christine Pickup. And then at 10:30, we're going to have Jeremy Dice from the First Liberty Institute on the air. I think you're really going to be fascinated with this story. And that's coming up at 10:30 this morning. So right now, we're going to send it back over to Old Wheels at our station. He's going to play a little music and take us right up to CBS News. I'll be back in 7.
Really control just those that are we call destructive pests, and we work hard to do so. But whenever we try to control those, we are actually also controlling and killing collateral damage, I guess. But we're also killing those beneficial insects that would have been feeding on them and building up their population. And so we want to be careful about how much insecticide we're putting out there, pesticides we're putting out there, because there are some beneficial insects that will do not as great a job as some of our chemicals, but at least they'll start building their populations to a point where we can maybe get things balanced again. With the elm seed bug at this point, there are no beneficial insects feeding on them that we know of, and so their population is just going crazy.
You know, I apologize to you because you were starting off on plants and I got back on creepy crawling things again. But it was really interesting because I think a lot of people want to know what to do or what not to do, and if they spray for one, they might be hurting the other. So it's kind of a complicated process, isn't it?
It is. It's really good to get things identified before you just start going and spraying. Like I talked about the ladybugs last week. You know, here's a guy that saw stuff dripping out of his tree, saw the leaves starting to curl, and what he saw were these little black alligator-shaped, black and orange alligator-shaped bugs crawling up the tree, and he figured those are the culprit, when actually those are the ladybugs. And so, you know, if he had taken out a spray, and the ladybugs were looking for the aphids, which were causing the damage. Mm-hmm. So he was going to spray his tree that was full of ladybugs who were building up their population and feeding on the aphids. So it's really important that you identify first what you're looking at. Identify the culprit and any other bugs that might be in the area that might be the good guys. And then you can make some decisions off of that rather than, we have bugs, it's time to spray. That's the 1950s mentality. And that didn't work out really well for us.
Absolutely. You know, we go out of time too fast. I mean, you are so interesting and so explanatory on talking about bugs and plants and everything else. Now, I promise you this. If we're going to talk about plants next week, I will shut up and not say a word.
Well, I got to tell you, I will be gone next week, but I do have one of my master gardeners, Mark Dolachek. He's agreed to come on with you, if that's okay, Deb.
Absolutely.
And he's going to talk about raised beds and straw bale gardening. And so we're going to get back into a little bit of vegetables next week. I'll be back the week after that.
You know, just have him call me so I can make reference, get his name pronounced right, and make sure that I put him on the list. But I'll tell you what, you're numero uno, Tony McCammon, University of Idaho horticulturalist, and it's time to grow. Real quick, I got 30 seconds. Give a rundown of our sponsors for this segment one more time.
Well, I'll just throw out a big shout-out to all my master gardeners. The association sponsored this program. Also, Sears there in Burley and Monty's Plant Food and products, and especially their humic acids. They're working really well for a lot of my research, and I appreciate their sponsorship of the program.
You're the best, man. I really enjoy and I learn. Thank you, Tony McCammon, University of Idaho, and we'll see you in 2 weeks, and we'll talk to Mark next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zeb.
All right, sir. Thank you. I really learned from him about bugs and all the creepy crawlies and about the plants and everything. It's time to grow with Tony McCammon, University of Idaho horticulturalist. Hey, it's also time to tell you about Let's Ride. Oh, yeah. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, open Mondays through Fridays, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 4. And with the warmer temperatures, everybody wants to get in the water. They want to go to the lakes. They want to go to the rivers and the streams. Get your watercraft fun machines at Let's Ride. And don't forget, they got all the 4x4s, and they've got, of course, the side-by-sides. They've got it all for fun outside enjoying southern Idaho at Let's Ride. And a great accessory department, fantabulous service department. I'm telling you, it's all there. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, and this is where the fun is sold. Stop over and see them today. Real quick, also, I want to remind you about some really good friends of ours, and that's, of course, Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center. Nice people that really care about people. They make every effort to make Autumn Haven the best place for your loved ones, and it's the only locally owned and operated assisted living facility in the Mini-Cassia area, and they really want to make sure that living there is a good time, a fun time. They've got a beautiful patio in the backyard, and they have barbecues, and they take the residents out to various events around the community. You know, they're small compared to some, but with a bigger heart than most. Autumn Haven Assisted Living Center, 924 Christian Way in Rupert, 436-3200. Oh, my goodness, look who's here. It's Thursday. Good morning, Rita Ramsey.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm real good.
Well, we are not at a loss of things to talk about this morning, and I think I would go down the pathway of what's happening right now as we speak. Former FBI Director James Comey is testifying. What do you think will come out of all this balderdash?
Well, I'll be really surprised if anything comes out of it, because it's basically a fishing expedition trying to make something out of nothing is my guess. I don't know, however. I do think that with the amount of people who have credibility, who have addressed this and said there's nothing here, that there probably is nothing there, and we're just wasting a bunch of time. I was just listening prior to, while I was waiting for you to finish up with the horticulture guy. And one thing that they asked Comey is, they said, well, did President Trump ask you to lay off of the investigations and stuff into Flynn? And he said yes. And then he said, well, the senator said, well, why do you think that President Trump would have had everybody leave the Oval Office when you were talking about this? You know, he asked the Department of Justice to leave. He asked went through the whole list. So it was just you and I. And he said, Comey says, well, I don't really know about that. And he said, well, what do what it boils down to is it's against you, it's you or Trump. Which one are we supposed to believe? So why do you think that we should believe you? And he said, well, I don't want to. My mother always told me that I shouldn't speak about myself this way, so I guess I won't.
Oh,
sounds like he's just so honest and forthright.
Yeah.
And I thought, what about all of that stuff during the Hillary thing, and we were supposed to believe you, and we knew dang good and well that you were leaving out truthful stuff, and you were ignoring things that were going on, and now we're supposed to believe you over Trump? I mean, which way does it go? You know, they don't want to address that and how he handled all of the investigations and how he came up and said, well, Hillary did this and she did that and she did the other, but I believe it was intent, so I don't believe that her intent was bad, so I would recommend that we don't do anything. And it's kind of like, that's not your place. He's got all kinds of stuff to say in defense of somebody who's on his political side, but if they're not, then it's kind of like, oh, you know, believe me, I'm the one who's being forthright here.
Yeah. One of the things that really bothered me last night, and it drew the Democrats even lower on the bottom of the barrel, in my opinion, was that pitiful, very pitiful Al Green, Democrat from Texas, this morning is drawing up the reasons and the articles of impeachment against Donald Trump. And there is not one shred of proof, not one piece of evidence that even warrants anybody for drawing up any articles of impeachment. I am fed up with the obstructionist attitude of the Democratic Party, and I said earlier this morning, I'm making a prediction that all of this nonsense will destroy their party in 2018.
Well, I think you're probably right about that. The thing about that politician from Texas is that he just wants to be the one, you know, I was the first one to draw that up, and so you should be behind me. Yeah. It's his own self-political interest. It's not because he really believes there's anything. It's because he wants to be first in line and be notorious for being the one who wrote those up if anything comes of it, not because something really will and there's something there.
Well, let me ask you this question, and you are a very astute student of politics because you know what's going on. Every Thursday, I'm amazed with the way you follow the news like you had your own program. But wouldn't you say, Rita, that it's really frivolous and a waste of time since January? There is still not one shred of evidence of collusion or anything else from the Trump administration. And with all these supposed leaks and leakers, wouldn't you thought there would be at least a little bit of something on the floor?
You and I both know if there was even the slightest little drop of evidence or shred of anything, that it would have been magnified into the great big thing, and they would have Trump behind bars by now. They don't, so they're just fishing, trying to find something. They're letting everybody weigh in, and everybody's going to do this. Notice how the last few days they had all kinds of people saying, this is what Comey's going to say, and we know this, and we know da-da-da-da-da. And it's kind of like, just because you think you know what he's going to say doesn't mean that it's the truth.
But the other...
I really think that you know, they're making a mountain out of a little molehill, and that they're trying to accentuate everything that's there, and there's not anything there. They're just trying to build something.
Absolutely. You know, when I look at the situation with like Al Green, this man is nothing more than a taxpayer-paid troublemaker. That's all he is. That's all Al Green is. And many of these Democrats are absolutely starting to be hated by other Democrats. Did you listen to what Joe Manchin said the other day when he was interviewed? And he basically, in very professional terms, said, enough. Until we have proof, let's get the ball rolling to working and serving the American people. At least one Democrat is showing some sense, and the rest of them seem to be like lemmings running over a cliff with information they don't even have.
Well, this is what happens when you have people that just get so livid that they can't see straight. They can't see any kind of common sense. They can't see any kind of, you know, how it's going to look afterwards or anything else. They are just absolutely rabid, mad. And because of it, they're just going down a tunnel, and they're trying to figure out anything that they can. At least there are a few people out there that are halfway, you know, commonsensical about it and saying, well, you know, let's just kind of see what happens, let them do their thing, and let's get busy doing the people's business. That's what they should be doing. Every one of them who are on the fence and calling all kinds of names and speaking out and going to all these TV shows and everything, saying all this other kind of stuff about how Oh, I'm sure that Trump's going to get in trouble over this because he really was obstructing justice. He was doing this. He was doing that. There's a number of different things that have been mentioned that, the president can actually do various different types of things, and they're within the law and within his power. So these people are just so livid that they can't see straight, and they are not going to stop at anything.
No, and there was I can't remember her name right now, I apologize, a congresswoman on television yesterday on some of the stations like MSNBC and CNN, and she was railing, Trump, oh my goodness, yes, we're going to get him because there's a lot of smoke. Oh my goodness, there's smoke here and there's smoke there. Well, and then the commentator said, well, have you found the fire? No, we haven't found the fire, but there's a lot of smoke. They are running around like Chicken Little trying to find acorns that haven't even fallen.
Well, and that's what's really sad about it is you've got media people trying to be, we're the Watergate heroes of the 21st century, and we're doing this and we're doing that, and I'm the one who has all this information, and that's like baloney. And then you've got politicians that are, I'm the one who will save the Democrats and get us back into the majority, and it's all about them. It's not about what's right and what about needs to happen, and let's get the facts together and see if there's any kind of a thing. Meanwhile, nothing is being processed in the news except that, which is nothing. I mean, did you hear much about the North Koreans testing another missile yesterday?
Very little. I had to do some research to find out the story, and they tested, as a matter of fact, a couple of more missiles, and that story was put on the back burner. This is the problem. Rita. The Democrats are basically so intent on throwing this man out of office, they're sacrificing the safety and the integrity of the United States.
Oh, absolutely. And, you would think, anyway, I would think, I'm guessing you would think, the average person would think, why are we not hearing a little bit about this reality winner person?
Yeah.
Let's just kind of brush that to the back burner like it never happened, and so that we don't have to deal with it. Meanwhile, you've got their family speaking out saying, oh, she didn't do anything wrong, she's a patriot, and da-da-da-da-da. It's kind of like, okay, parents, if you have a brain in your head, stay off the TV shows, show your child that you're backing them up, but don't go out there saying a bunch of stuff, because you're the ones that are going to look like idiots when they find out, in fact, that she has done some things that she can't do, that's against the law, and she's going to be sitting in jail over it.
Speaking of idiots, oh my, did you open the door for me, Rita, lovely lady? That leads us right up to Governor Jerry Brown of California making a green, similar Paris Accord climate agreement with China. Au contraire, tell us what your thoughts are about old Moonbeam.
Well, I couldn't help but think when there was a few people talking earlier about, and you even mentioned this, you have some acquaintances in California, and they're good people, they're common sense people, and a lot of them are just being strangled by the idiots in California. And Chris called in and mentioned that, there's so many people there, what can they do, and how come they can't see the light? Well, this is what happens when a bunch of people take over and start giving somebody power. All of a sudden, Jerry Brown thinks that he's the president of the United States.
Yeah.
And he can sign a climate deal with China. The problem is that all of these people who were in on this, and I've mentioned this before probably so many times that I sound like a broken record, all this climate crap is just a bunch of farce, and it's all about money and who's putting money in their pocket. It's not about people who are really concerned with the earth. I think that there's a few people that are quite concerned about the earth, but I think that, to be alarmed about it is really just waste of time, because what's happened is we have educated our kids since they were in kindergarten about how bad the earth is, how we have to take care of it, how we have to do everything, this and that and the other, to where when some of this stuff starts coming out, all of a sudden they're thinking, oh my gosh, by the time I'm a grown-up, there won't be an earth left, and they've got to get on board with it instead of knowing the facts. if they really knew the facts and if they gave the facts, they'd find out that Noah and all these other people are giving false information. They're making the information so that they can put it in their court as politically. There's no evidence whatsoever.
Yeah.
That the earth is burning up or is going to burn up, or that the oceans are going to rise and wash the cities off of the face of the earth, unless God does it.
Absolutely.
And they don't recognize that there's a higher being than themselves, and that's where the big problem is that they won't say, well, if you look at the cycle over the period of the last several years that we have recorded, there's nothing showing that there's not anything but a cycle here.
Yeah.
But we've got to get on board, and we've got to make sure that people have ways to buy authority to change out or trade out, as Hal Gore says. I have trade-offs. I've bought trade-offs, so I can run my big jet because the trade-offs that I've paid for will plant trees in the Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
All he's doing is promoting his own company.
Amen. But I got to tell you, before I do a weather forecast, did you happen to see the dorky Democrat radio talk show host on TV last night? They came out with one of the most blatantly stupid remarks, saying that he was talking about Governor Jerry Brown and signing this agreement and everything, that California is the leader of our nation for doing the right things. And I about tipped my TV tray over. I was so incensed as to the stupidity. California's broke through a bunch of doggone stupid mistakes by Democratic politicians. They absolutely can't say come here from Sikkim because they don't know what they're going to do. Their taxes, their economy, and their reliance on other people's money. They even might be asking the taxpayers of America to bail them out, like the state of Illinois, and some dim light says that California is the leader of our nation. Please respond.
Well, until people in California mainly, the rest of us have to do it too, we have to call out these people who are just false lying and put it out there so that people know. But Americans are so complacent, they'll sit back and just let anything happen. And this is what's happened over the last 50 years or so is we've let the left take over with their narrative because we haven't disputed it and said, no, that's not true. We don't have big enough voices. I've said many times, and I'll stick to it, is that when people will get together with a big voice, they can make a difference. But as long as you've got everybody wanting to do their own little thing, and I'll just get online and I'll make things and I'll send my emails to other people, and that's how you make a difference, nothing's going to happen because that isn't going to make a difference.
I agree. I've got to get a weather forecast in real quick, brought to you and everyone by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. CPAs that have been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. The best of tax return preparation, tax planning, financial statement preparation, payroll services, and so much more. 2 offices to serve you, one in Burley, one in Rupert, and please remember, these are the folks that can help you if you're starting a business or a partnership or a corporation or business owners that want to hire more employees. They've got the information. They've got the knowledge. Get a hold of them today. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here is your weather for this Thursday as we get ready to saddle up and ride again. Partly cloudy skies for today, expecting a high of 82. Wind steady out of the west, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles an hour. Tonight we are expecting clear skies with a low of 54. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies in the morning, followed by scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. Possible rain showers as well, about a 60% chance. Looking at a high of 66 with an overnight low of 46. And as we get on into the weekend on Saturday, mostly sunny skies, high of 69. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. And the weather brought to you this hour by Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. CPAs, offices at 1710 Overland Avenue in Burley and 620 5th Street in Rupert. Get the best to work for you. Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Rita, I don't know if you had heard about this story or not, but Katie Couric had put together an anti-gun tape for a segment she did for television. And now it's come out, and it's blatantly against Katie Couric that she is a liar, she is a fraud, and she's a deceiver. She edited and altered the tape so that when questions were asked of this gun organization, that the people that she was interviewing looked like they were totally stupid and inept, and their answers to the questions were not put on the tape. Well, they're going to sue. And in the process of finding out about this court case and how it's going to go, a judge had said, oh, she didn't do anything wrong. And then it's found out that this judge was appointed to his position by Barack Obama, who also hates guns. This whole thing just reeks of liberalism and how they want to cheat the law.
Well, that's the thing is people with common sense can look at it and go, hello, there's a big problem here. And the problem isn't, anything except a judge who's been appointed by somebody who's very political instead of a judge who's saying, you know what, we're going to look at the law and see if it's broken. People have got to start calling out some of these media people and or anybody else who make inflammatory remarks or say various things, show them that they mean business, because what will happen is these will start going to court. And if we had tort reform, it would be even better because the loser has to pay.
Right.
But the deal is that you can't make allegations and stuff like this without thinking that there's going to be any kind of consequence after you. When you start doing this kind of stuff, there's going to be consequence. And we actually saw some consequence last week with that idiot comedian who decided she wanted to put Trump's head on a on a stick. But anyway, if people have got to start saying, yeah, you're darn right, I will sue you. And it boils down to people taking action against themselves instead of just saying, oh, okay, I'll just back off and shut up.
Let me ask you, if you were listening on Monday morning, and Tuesday I highlighted it again, this is a story that is very spooky, and I've only got 3 minutes left here, but I want you to comment on it, that the New York City Council members are demanding city taxpayers pay for defense attorneys for convicted criminal illegal aliens. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars that they want taxpayers to cough up for illegal aliens. And this could spread to other cities. This is insane.
Well, it is, and the thing of it is that when you're arrested and go to court, if you can't afford an attorney, we provide one for you, no matter who you are. And so I think that we're stuck with that. I think that there needs to be some modifications maybe made to, just how much we're going to pay and how far we're going to go. But it's my understanding that that's the law.
Well, yeah, but wait a minute, to the point where these people should have been deported, and now they're fighting it on our tax dollars. These are people that are involved in drug deals, murders, and they're involved in other robbery schemes, etc. And we're paying the bill to the tune of $282 million the taxpayers are funding to help defend them when they should have been deported.
Well, that's where it comes down to, enforcing the law, making sure that people don't come in here when they're not supposed to be here, making sure that the law is followed by deporting them instead of letting them stay and milk our legal systems dry in the taxpayers' pockets.
Okay, real quick, one last story. I got to get this in. Alabama, 13 counties in Alabama have now passed a new law to where if you're a deadbeat and they find out you're a deadbeat, you're going to be taken off the welfare rolls. You're going to be told you got to get to work and you got to start being responsible. They have seen an 85% reduction in people trying to get on food stamps. It's working, Rita.
And you know what? It will keep working if other states will implement that. And we have got to get a hold of our representatives and say, would you look at Alabama and see what's going on? We've got to stop this. This is bleeding our nation dry, and until you stop the bleeding in our state, it's not going to solve anything. But if numbers of other states will do that in areas, we'll have some action, and we'll save some money, and we might be able to stay alive. Otherwise, we're going to bleed to death.
Absolutely. Real quick, anything that you want to highlight before we leave? I've got 30 seconds.
No, Nope, I don't think so.
Well, you have a wonderful week and weekend, and we will talk to you about more of the crazy news next Thursday.
Okay, thanks, Seb.
Thanks, Rita. I love having her on the program. She knows what's going on. I can guarantee you that. You know what? I tell you what, every Thursday, you're way ahead of me. I know you are. I'm hungry. I am starving to death at this time of the morning. I could bite that microphone. I'm just starving here, and I have got some great places to tell you about. How about the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley? Oh, special for the month, shrimp and fries. And they've got the chicken fried steak sandwiches and the famous Farmer Brown burgers. Have you had a famous Farmer Brown burger? Treat yourself with the fries and the special sauce and everything and all the shakes. AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. How, excuse me, how about Taco Bandito? 2301 Overland in Burley. My goodness, they've got the street tacos. Oh, the choice of meat, either steak, pork, or fire-roasted salsa chicken. Choice of cheese, taco sauce, and pico de gallo salsa. Woohoo! Or the new pork burritos. You're going to love them. All of it at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Well, let's move over. I'm really getting hungry. Now I'm starting to salivate all over the microphone. Burgers, etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. Root beer floats only 99 cents after 3 p.m. Oh, I'm coming down. And fresh strawberry shakes. And how about all the delicious burgers? And every Sunday at the Burley location, shrimp dinner only $5.99. Oh, my. All of this and more at Burgers, etc. Rupert and Burley. Well, let's move over right now and take in Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 West of Heyburn. Oh, my goodness. Their famous patio is open, and you can enjoy the great outdoors and some great food. Oh, you're going to love the atmosphere, the buffalo burgers, and the chaos salad. That's really, really good. And they've got great soups and friendly servers, dedicated staff. You better stop on over to Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 West of Heyburn. And last but not least, Doc's Pizza at 514 6th Street in Rupert. The best doggone pizza in the Mini-Cache area. That's how the vote went. Yep, they are. Voted number one. And don't forget, they're introducing a new pizza called the Dessert Pizza. Ooh, listen to this. Oreo cookie drizzle pizza. It's delicious. You're going to love it. All the food, everything at Doc's Pizza, 514 6th Street in Rupert. And those are just a few great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. I am. Okay, here's the game plan for next hour. We're going to have Cache County School Days and the Business Salute. And then at 10:30, don't miss a great, interesting story about First Amendment rights with Jeremy Dice from the First Liberty Institute. Right now, we'll send it back over to Wheels. We'll be back in about 7 minutes. Oh, my, here we go. Good morning, hour number 3. Thank you, Wheels. And right now, Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And, of course, some of our great advertisers, including Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them at 734-6969. Hold on a second, everybody. Had to clear the throat. There we go. Want to remind you, too, about the Relay for Life. As a matter of fact, we're going to have Debbie Critchfield on the air in a few minutes, and we're going to be talking about Cache County School Days and maybe even a little bit more about this. But this Saturday is the big, very important day, the Mini-Cache Relay for Life at the Burley High School track. And there's so many people, excuse me, that are going to be out there walking and running and gathering funding for, of course, fighting and hopefully curing the deadly diseases of cancer. And we wish them well. It's going to be Saturday, June 10th from 11 in the morning until 11 p.m. Burley High School track and the Mini-Cache Relay for Life with their theme this year, One Wish, Two Wish, You Wish, I Wish for a Cure. And we also want to remind everybody, excuse me, for some reason, I got that nasty old frog in my throat again. Get back in the swamp where you belong. Ag Express is looking for drivers. Now, listen to me. They really have some great opportunities for folks, full and part-time positions, and for retired folks, too, to put their application in. And you can work 2 or 3 days a week, whatever. Ag Express will work around your schedule, whatever works best for you. You're home every night. You're using new and maintained equipment, vacation schedules, benefit programs, 401k plans. You better check it out today and call Dale and Paul at 438-8886 or Allen in Twin Falls 731-2495 or Russ in Burley at 431-7175. Ag Express is looking for drivers. Ag Express is looking for you. Okay. Well, it's just about time now for Cassia County School Days, and we are very thankful to our two sponsors that have been with us ever since we had the start of this program. And it's a child's world, and we certainly appreciate all their efforts. And Deanna, if you'd hand me the addresses of our wonderful sponsors of this, it's not on the sheet, I'd appreciate that. A Child's World, I believe at 1308 Overland in Burley, and then also Ambulatory Surgery Center. Let's not forget at A Child's World all your baby and birthday presents, and believe me, they've got all the baby furniture, the cribs, the changers, the car seats, everything, along with, if you're in the profession that needs scrubs, they carry the Cherokee scrubs and the shoes. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, be sure and stop into A Child's World in Burley, along with the Burley Ambulatory Surgery Center. These are wonderful people serving you and providing outpatient surgeries for glaucoma surgeries, colonoscopies, hand and knee surgeries, everything for you and your family. And don't forget, they can be reached at 677-8888, located at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley, A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And right now, let's have Cassia County School Days. And with us is, of course, the lovely Debbie Critchfield, the communications officer for Cassia County Schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
How are you?
I am doing well.
Okay, now I understand you've got a meeting coming up that you want to highlight some of the things we're going to be talking about, right?
Well, I guess it's mostly to promote and to remind folks that every month our school board trustees have a public meeting. And this meeting is where they conduct their business as a board in an open setting. And, of course, they're bound to the open meeting laws. And every month we have an agenda that we like to get out there. It is open to the public. And perhaps some have not known that it was open, that they could come and be a part of it. I guess it's open in the sense that you can come and watch the business of the board. And this is the opportunity that patrons have to come and hear and learn about the policies that the board is considering and what is on the slate for coming up in the future, and anything and everything that has to do with school business.
These meetings, to some people, might say, oh, well, that's boring, and I'll fall asleep. But listen, if you're going to take involvement in your child's education and you want to know what's going on, you want to keep yourself abreast of all the information, these are really important meetings for people to attend.
That's true. I don't know that there's anybody that hates meetings more than I do. I have to go to a lot of them in the course of my life. And this is a meeting that we always hope that even if you don't come to every one, that parents and students will take an opportunity to come. The meeting for June is tonight. The board's current schedule is that every second Thursday of the month at 7 o'clock at the central office in the boardroom, that's their formal meeting.
Absolutely.
And outside of this meeting, the board, they'll do things. They'll tour and they'll have information provided to them, but it's in an official meeting that a board really exercises the power that they have as an elected official. And school policies and procedures impact all of us in our community, whether it's when school starts, to vacation, to contracts with our teachers. All of those types of things impact the daily life of school. And these meetings are a great location to, like you say, be informed and hear what the discussions are.
Absolutely. Give us the time and the location one more time.
So tonight, 7 o'clock at the Kaja School Central Office. Excuse me, I've got the same frog in my throat. And starting at 7 o'clock in the boardroom. And on just quickly as a rundown, there are some policies that they are considering. Tonight there's 3 policies, and then there's other items that they will be looking at. 2 of our schools, Mountain View Elementary and Burley High School, are giving reports to the board. And so if you have students at those schools, this would be a great opportunity for you to hear from the principal on the activities that are there, the programs, and how they impact student achievement.
Absolutely.
And then there's some other requests, and the board will look at fuel bids and those types of things.
You know, school is out and the doors are closed, but that doesn't mean that the work stops with any school district, and especially Cassia County. There's a lot of things happening during the summer, isn't there?
Yes, in fact, I was just over at one of our elementary schools, White Pine. They're getting new carpet. Everything's cleared out of classrooms. All of our schools, in some form or another, have paint. The maintenance, this is their harvest, so to speak, with our maintenance departments. They get in without children in the buildings and, obviously day-to-day activities, and they're able to take care and address some of those needs. Our teachers by nature are learners, and even when they're not in school, they're taking classes and attending conferences to try to beef up their own professional development.
Are there a lot of seminars that go on? I'm going to show some naivete here, but are there a lot of seminars that go on around the region or the Northwest that try to help update teachers as to innovative ideas that they might try to apply in their class?
Absolutely. And we're fortunate that we have local offerings by local CSI houses and provides various things. In Boise, of course, there are other educational groups that will come in and sponsor events that teachers are able to attend. And one of the federal requirements that our state has is to provide professional development for our teachers with federal funds. And so every school district receives an allotment of money, and with that they make decisions on what is the best use of that money? What is going to be the strategies and the teaching techniques that will help our teachers? And if math teachers need to beef up their content knowledge and how to communicate that, then that's going to be something that's recommended for that group of teachers.
Absolutely. Debbie, I don't mean to get off track here this morning, but I think it is going to be held at Burley High School. I think I'd like you to wrap up the remaining time on this program this morning to talk about the Minnecasia Relay for Life, because every family, regardless of who they are, where they live, they know someone or they've had a family member that has been stricken with cancer. And this Minnecasia Relay for Life is very important, coming up this Saturday at the Burley High School track.
Thank you. As we've talked about before, the Relay for Life events, it's communities across the world, the globe, that are coming together to honor cancer survivors, remember loved ones that are lost, and essentially just to fight back against this disease that has really taken too many of our friends and family. And the funds that are raised at this event go to the American Cancer Society to help some of the nearly 14 million cancer survivors. And the research that is also available with these types of funds goes to help some of the preventative measures. And it's a fun event. Starting at 11 o'clock, it's not too early, so people who want to sleep in on Saturdays, I don't think you and Deanne ever sleep in. You're probably internally set to get up at 4 in the morning.
Yes, we are, unfortunately, yes.
Other folks that aren't, they can have a morning at home and work out in the yard and do those things, and then starting at 11 o'clock and to 11 that night, head on over, grab some friends, get a team if you want, but if nothing else, just take the opportunity to go and visit with neighbors and friends and talk about how we bring more awareness to this issue.
I had a call Tuesday, as a matter of fact, day before yesterday. And this lady was so nice and so sweet, and she said, how do I contribute? I want to do something to help the cancer research and the Minnecasia Relay for Life, and I, in turn, had given her your number. But what about other people if they just want to show up and give a check to help fight cancer?
I think that would be amazing. And there will be clearly designated areas with volunteers and directors for folks to be able to accomplish that if they wanted. One of the ways, if you didn't want to just flat out write a check, there's other activities and there's always food and other things that they'd be able to take advantage of that also go to support the funds that are raised for the American Cancer Society.
On the nation as a whole, though, where are we on cancer research? I would imagine that our United States of America might very possibly and very probably lead the pack for cancer research. Do you have any numbers on that at all?
I don't, but like you, I tend to think that we're at least ahead of the game, and I would hope that this would be an area that we wouldn't be territorial in our world, that if France has something amazing in their cancer research, that there's collaboration and that we aren't creating unnecessary borders when it comes to health care.
You know, I wanted to ask you this the other day, and maybe I did and I forgot, but, you know, with all this bickering, all this infighting and partisan politics, I think that they are doing a total disservice by not developing a very comprehensive, well-studied, well-thought-out health care program, because the longer they wait, people suffer. And cancer is one of the main problems.
I agree. I'm not in on those conversations, but we have, when I think of the development that we have as far as we've solved how to get to space, we've solved a lot of problems in our country. I can't imagine that this one is that hard. And I guess I'm being very naive and ignorant about maybe some of the layers of the issues. But again, it's one of those areas where we all believe that this is an issue that needs to be addressed, that people need to have the opportunity to get the kind of care, especially in these types of circumstances. It is expensive when you have cancer.
No.
And folks without insurance, you're about bankrupt when you're done.
Yeah. And, you know, really, people that are living in a bubble all by themselves, I don't know if they could possibly not know someone in this day and age, family member, next-door neighbor, or whatever, that isn't suffering from cancer. And I urge everyone out in the audience to be a part of helping contribute to the Minnecasia Relay for Life. And, again, give us all the specifics as to what's going to take place on Saturday.
Show up. You can be there all day, part of the day, starting at 11 o'clock, Burley High School football field. The teams will be taking turns, and anyone really can take turns walking around the track, walking or running. And the idea of that is that, you know, cancer never sleeps, and so they want to have someone on the track at all times walking around and to recognize that and to bring attention. There's all kinds of activities and entertainment that's happening all day. Bring the family. Again, come for an hour, come for 10 hours. It's completely on your schedule. It's a great way to spend a couple hours on a Saturday.
Absolutely. Debbie Critchfield, communications officer for, of course, the Cassia County School System, and a wonderful lady. I'm so honored to have you come on this program. Thank you for all you do, and God's blessings, and we'll have you on soon again for Cassia County School Days.
Sounds great. Enjoy the afternoon.
All right. Thank you so much. Wonderful lady right there, Debbie Critchfield of the Cassia County Schools. Thank you very much. Brought to you by two great opportunities for you. One of the opportunities for shopping for your family, and that's Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. And they've got all the baby gifts, and they've got all the Cherokee scrubs and shoes like I told you a little bit about earlier, and they gift wrap for free. So stop in and see them today at Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley, and the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 677-8888 for your outpatient surgeries. Please call them today, 677-8888. And that's Cassia County Schools for today. Right now, we're going to change gears a little bit, and there's a lovely lady that has been on our program many, many times, and we do their advertisement every day on my show, and that's, of course, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and the lovely Dr. Christine Pickup. And is she there, Wheels?
Give me one moment, still ringing.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to have her on for our business salute coming up in just a moment, so stay tuned for that. And then we're going to have Jeremy Dice, attorney for the group called First Liberty Institute, on at 10:30 this morning, so don't miss that. Let's see if he has the lovely doctor on the line. Wheels, is she ready to go?
Yes, sir, she is.
I appreciate your help, Wheels. Thank you very much. And right now, we're going to be talking to the lovely doctor of audiology, and that's Christine Pickup from Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids at 1218 9th Street in Rupert, Unit 2. Hello, Dr. Pickup. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning. How are you?
I am fantabulous. You know, let me ask you this. In the summertime, with all the activities outside and, of course, the 4th of July with fireworks and people doing a lot of work with lawnmowers and machinery, I would imagine that you probably get more people in the wintertime to come over and talk about hearing loss than at other times of the year. Am I right or wrong?
Well, you're definitely exposed to more hazardous noise in the summer. You just have a lot of noisy hobbies, whether it's boating or riding on your side-by-side or mowing the lawn. All those things can hurt your ears.
Okay. And I would also imagine that if people notice, and I've said this many times on your ads, they notice a diminishment in hearing, and they're kind of saying, what'd you say over there, Martha? That's the start of a hearing problem, but it can be helped by you over at Mount Harrison Audiology. Tell us how.
Well, we have lots of things we can do. Hearing aids are one component, but I'm really excited, we've just brought on a new partner that has a therapy that you can do. They're basically games that you play online, but they are a therapy. It's kind of like you go to Burley Physical Therapy. This is physical therapy for your ears and your brain, and it helps things kind of reconnect so that you hear better.
Oh, really? So let me ask you this, and it's a very unprofessional question because I don't understand the mechanics of this, but by playing these games, it helps the brain create a better hearing atmosphere for the ears. Is that right?
Well, sort of. It helps them reconnect. So when you have hearing loss, you actually have damage that happens to the brain. The pathways are altered when they don't get the correct stimulus. And so what these games are designed to do, and they were created and designed by PhD audiologists who've done therapy for years. They have very specific goals that we can set and skills that we can practice, whether it's listening in noise or hearing your spouse or someone that you're with a lot and talk to a lot, being able to sort out speech from noise. These are actually skills that we can practice and teach. And it really helps augment your progress with hearing aids. Or if you're not quite ready to jump into hearing aids yet, there's even some classes that we can do that are appropriate for someone who has a small degree of hearing loss but isn't quite ready to jump into the hearing aid realm yet.
Oh, my goodness. I've got to check with you after the program and find out more. You have something special coming up, though, and it's called the Sounds of Summer Scavenger Hunt. What in the world are you going to be doing?
Well, it's on now. So we are sponsoring a sound scavenger hunt as an office. We want to encourage people to get out into the beautiful Plaza area and enjoy all that we have to offer. And so we are adding a little incentive to get out there and enjoy our beautiful community. And so you come into the office, you pick up a card, and it has all the rules on the back. But basically, you go to 4 different things this summer: a county fair, some kind of a fine arts theater event, go to an outdoor event, go out and see something beautiful, maybe go out to the Mount Harrison Lookout or the City of Rock. And then by the end of the summer, you turn in your card with a proof of attendance or a picture that you took when you were there. And then all entries need to be here by the end of September, and we will announce the winners on our Facebook page. Grand prize is $500 off a pair of mid-level or premium hearing aids. And then there's other prizes that we're going to have, including a date night for 2.
Oh, my goodness. Now, we have a caller with a question, and we'll put them on the air. Go ahead, caller, quickly. I've only got 2 minutes left.
Yes. Dr. Christine, you sound so lovely on the phone. I intended to go see if I have a problem. But this is what my problem is why is the hearing aid industry so expensive? You know, it's in consideration of cell phones and other electronic devices, they are way more expensive. Could you kind of enlighten me to what I'm doing wrong?
Okay, we'll have her answer that on the air. Go ahead, please.
The hearing aids are expensive, granted, but when you compare what they're doing with other electronics that you've mentioned, they actually aren't as expensive as you think. When you look at how much you spend a month on your cell service, or if you go out and buy the latest and greatest iPhone, you're spending, by the time you're done and you've paid for that service for 5 years, you've spent several $1,000s as well. You just don't do it in one chunk. One thing that I do to try to keep those costs down is we give you a lot of service, and you're not just buying hearing aids from our company. You are buying all of my professional services and care, and that's included in the price so that you're not worried about, oh, I can't afford to go pay another copay. That's just covered. We have hearing aids that fit any budget. We have very economical ones, and we have the top-of-line premium ones. It just depends on what your hearing is and what your budget is, and we're going to find what's going to work best for you. And we offer payment plans. We have different ways that we can make this affordable, because I recognize that it's expensive. But if you look at other medical devices, they're actually pretty on par. I am a type 1 diabetic and use an insulin pump, and my cost on that little device that keeps me alive without my insurance was $10,000.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
So it's, you have to kind of keep it in perspective, but there's ways that we can make it affordable. We work with programs for people that have no money at all. We even have used hearing aids here in the office that we use with people who need to. So we have ways to make it work.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, this lovely lady and her business have been on my program for a long time, and I salute them for what they do and how they try to help others. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, located at 1218 9th Street, Unit 2 in Rupert, right across from the Minidoka Hospital Emergency Room, and that's, of course, with the lovely Dr. Christine Pickup. Dr. Pickup, thank you so much. I'm flat out of time. God bless. Good luck on your contest, your scavenger hunt, and we'll have you back on again real soon.
Sounds great. Thank you, Zeb.
Thank you. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And if you're noticing a hearing problem, please get a hold of them today at 312-0957. Thank you very much. Right now, it's time to send it back over to Wheels at our main studio. We'll be back in about 3 minutes. Don't go away.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Oh, welcome back into the final segment of our program for today, and for that matter, this week. Good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch. And right now, we're going to go to the phone line, and we're very honored to have Jeremy Dice with us, the Senior Counsel for First Liberty and host of the First Liberty Briefing, and he's got quite an interesting story about a former Marine who was court-martialed in the past for basically expressing her Christian faith in the workplace. Good morning, Jeremy. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for having me, Zeb.
You know, I've had you on before, and you were very, very interesting. And this case, it just makes my skin crawl to think that there's more of an encroachment and more of a trying to stifle our religious beliefs in this country. Give us a little background about this Marine.
Sure, yeah. Monica Sterling was in the Marine Corps, as you said, and had a cubicle in which she was working. And in that cubicle, she stuck a note up on her computer screen that said, had a quote from a Bible verse, it's from Isaiah, as a matter of fact, and it said, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper." And that was just a way to remind her and to encourage her in her work. You know, other Marines there in that same area had different quotations, I don't know, from people that they found inspiring. Maybe they were Vince Lombardi or who knows what they were quoting on there, but there were other quotations in around there. But her executive officer didn't like it, and so she ordered Monica to remove that Bible quotation. Monica was under no obligation to do so, and politely refused. And the officer removed it for her, put it in the trash can, and Monica printed out another one from the printer there, cut it out correctly, and taped it back up to the computer screen.
Well,
Long story short, Monica is brought up on court-martial charges for a variety of issues, but one of them was for refusing this order and continuing to have this Bible verse in place. And one federal judge even said that the posting of a Bible verse on a computer screen was not religious enough activity to merit protection under the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. We took over on the appeals here, and unfortunately, the Supreme Court of the United States has declined to review this case, and so there's a number of bad decisions that are going to impact the religious liberty of our service members over the next coming years. But we're going to continue to fight that good fight.
You mentioned earlier that other people at other desks had other statements, like you said, i.e. Vince Lombardi statements, etc. But they were allowed to keep those, but religious statements were singled out and thrown away. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the way I understand it here. Yeah, there are other personal effects in those various workspaces. I mean, look, the Marine Corps is not unlike your workspace in some regards, and they all have different personal effects and official effects, and among them were different things that caused people to remember various inspirational things, whether it's pictures of their kids or quotations from other individuals. It just seemed to be that it was this one Bible verse that caused a problem for her commanding officer. And that's where the conflict originated.
What really does this tell you, Jeremy? I mean, this goes a lot deeper than one person singling out a religious statement or proverb or section of the Bible. This tells me it's more of an attack on Christianity and our beliefs than it is anything else. Am I wrong?
Well, certainly an attack on religious liberty. When we have a Marine that is threatened by a black and white piece of paper, we've got bigger concerns, maybe than even the threat to religious liberty that we find ourselves in. But nonetheless, we've got more proof that there is a threat to the religious liberty of our service members. And let's just start with a premise, and I think we can agree with this, that when the members of our military, our men and women in the armed forces, when they go to protect our religious liberty, we should never deny them theirs. And in fact, when they go to boot camp, they give up a lot of stuff, but they don't give up their protections under the Constitution. They still retain the right to exercise their religion, even within the armed forces. It's an important point for us to remember, especially those of us in the civilian life that we find ourselves in. But you're right to say that there are ongoing and increasing threats to religious liberty within the armed forces, and that's why we have a Marine Corps JAG officer on our staff dedicated to ensuring that this type of thing is held accountable.
Why is this happening more so today, in your opinion, than it did maybe 10, 15, 30 years ago, whatever? They've always had that statement, there are no atheists that lay in foxholes. Why is this attitude changing?
Well, look, I think it probably starts at the commander-in-chief level and has worked its way down. Remember, the last 8 years have been filled with an administration that has been intent on restructuring the military in a social way that is oftentimes at odds with the exercise of religion. And we've seen during that time men like Sergeant Monk, who was almost drummed out of the Air Force after a very exemplary career for having a difference of opinion over the issue of marriage with his CO. You had Chaplain Wes Motter, who he was told that he was put on desk duty and almost drummed out of the Navy after having been the chaplain to the SEAL teams out in San Diego. Here he was brought up on charges. Why? Because he dared to counsel a sailor in accordance with the religious beliefs of the denomination that had sent him into the military in the first place. And so there's been this lessening of freedom for our service members when it comes to the exercise of their religion. And what's resulted from that is a place that is becoming somewhat hostile to the exercise of religion within the armed forces, and that should not be the case. Yeah. Our military has always had a preference for seeking the higher authority. I mean, it goes back to the days of Washington as commander-in-chief. We should not be denying our service members their religious liberty while they protect our freedom.
Jeremy, I've got to ask this because it just crossed my mind when you were talking about what's happening in the military, etc. But isn't there a leaning, if you will, towards allowing Muslims to wear the burqas and other things in the military and slant against Christianity? This is what I want you to define, because I've read stories as to where there seems to be more leniency towards Islam than there is Christianity in our military.
Well, I think we need to start with the premise here again that when one religious group receives religious liberty, all groups benefit from that, right? Religious liberty for one is religious liberty for all. I don't think it's correct to say that they've been given special treatment within the Muslim community. I do think that they've actually had to contend for their own specific religious liberty rights that are capable of being in conformance with the goals and mission of the United States military. Whether that is being able to, we've seen, for instance, Sikhs that are not connected to the Muslim faith, I understand, but Sikhs, for instance, have been have requested the right to maintain their turban and to not cut their hair too long or too short because of their religious beliefs regarding that. We can accommodate those things fairly easily in our country. Certainly, if we can allow a Sikh to retain their turban and to serve honorably in the United States military, I would imagine it'd be just as simple to accommodate someone like Monica Sterling to put a black and white piece of paper on her workstation that says, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper."
Absolutely. Now, you had mentioned, were there other charges for a discharge or court-martial that Monica Sterling was involved in, or was it just singularly for this Bible verse?
Yeah, look, when it comes down to it, it looks like that Monica may not have been the best candidate for the United States Marine Corps. But regardless of how many other things were piled on, there was one part of it that was related to the fact that she had a Bible verse on her workstation and was court-martialed for that. Now, just imagine that, for those of you who have served in the United States military, to have as a part of your court-martial the fact that you tried to exercise your faith within the Corps. That's remarkable to me, where we have now we have a series of opinions going all the way through the Court of Appeals for the Armed Forces and the Supreme Court of the United States affirming them, that affirm that idea. And so, look, we've been on a long winning streak in protecting the religious liberty of our military members. We're going to have to work extra hard now to ensure that they continue to be able to fully express their religious liberty even while serving in uniform.
You know, Jeremy, let me ask you this. Tell us a little bit about First Liberty Institute. Tell my audience exactly what it is, what it does.
Yeah, First Liberty Institute is a nationwide religious liberty law firm. That's all we do, is we ensure that people have the right to religious liberty. We protect religious liberty for all Americans. We do that within the military, but we also focus our efforts within the school system, the church, and the public square, because we believe it's important to protect the civil rights of all Americans as promised by the Founding Fathers. And the best part for our clients, anyway, is that they never get a bill from us. So we don't think you should have to pay an attorney to vindicate your civil rights when the government questions them. And so we're here just to simply work at firstliberty.org to ensure that all Americans have religious liberty.
Are you, I would imagine, very busy during the Christmas months with the anti-Christmas movement that's taken place in this country over the last decade, etc.? I hope that maybe what your works are providing for these people, we can win, and Christmas can always be a very sacred holiday.
Yeah, no, we hope so, too. I tell you, I'd like to say that one month was busier than another, but it seems like they're all busy these days. So whether it's protecting displays of a creche or a nativity scene or something like that, or protecting a memorial that is erected to honor the dead of World War I, or a student at graduation, or whatever you might have. It's funny. We've represented everything from the American Legion to a 6-year-old girl trying to say grace over her lunch at school, to a 63-year-old pastor who was told that she couldn't use her campus to engage in a religious exercise there for a summer camp for kids. It just runs the gamut. But we have this singular commitment to protecting religious liberty for all Americans, no matter where they are.
You mentioned something about pastors. I've got to ask you this before I let you go. There is such a fear in this country right now that if they say something or preach something of the Bible from the pulpit, that they may be sued, they may be litigated against. Pastors, I think, are living under a state of fear more so today than ever before. Would you agree with that?
Well, they don't need to be operating under a spirit of fear. In fact, I think there's scripture that reminds them not to act in a spirit of fear, but in the spirit of boldness. And so I would encourage them to do so. And to the extent that they do have concerns, I would encourage them to first go to firstliberty.org and review some of the materials we have just for pastors and churches there. That may give them a little bit of a more courage and strength on things. But if they ever are questioned by the IRS or whatever government official you may have, even city councils who are intent on using zoning laws sometimes to the detriment of churches and pastors, we'd love to talk to them more about those issues. The bottom line is this. The First Amendment still is the First Amendment, and there is plenty of case law on the books that remind us that religious liberty is alive and well today. It's up to you and I, Zeb, you and I in particular, and then those who are listening, to make sure that we're telling each other the story of religious liberty and encouraging each other to fully exercise their religious liberty wherever we may find ourselves, and to make sure that our kids know what religious liberty is and how their responsibility going forward is to protect that for the future generations as well.
You know, what it amounts to, Jeremy, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, is a lot of times the liberal left and the loons that want to shut things down, stop religious practices, etc., a lot of it is a big smoke screen, a lot of it is a bluff and a scare tactic, and if people would pick up the phone and contact people like yourself and the First Liberty Institute, you could put a lot of these things and stop them in their tracks. Am I right?
Look, we win 90% of the cases we get involved in. And so more than likely, if you're willing to stand up for your religious liberty and we're able to help you, you're probably going to win that case. And so when I say that we win 90% of our cases, I need to have another statistic added to that. We lose 100% of the cases we're never involved in. Right, so if we're not having people that have their religious liberty questioned and they decide that they just simply want to allow that to stand, well, of course we're going to begin to lose our religious liberty. And so it's incumbent upon you, it may be you listening today, that you're going to have something happen, either at school as graduation season comes to an end here, or perhaps it's even in your workplace where you've had your religious liberty questioned. We just filed a charge of discrimination against a school district in Maine because a educational technician told a colleague in a private conversation that she was praying for him, and the school thinks that's against the Constitution. It's not, and more than likely you have some issues that you're facing right now that the Constitution and federal law protects. We'd love to help out with that, but we can only be as effective as those who are willing to stand up for their religious liberty. This
Absolutely.
is, after all, a government of we the people.
Absolutely.
To do it.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on this morning. Senior Counsel for First Liberty and host of the First Liberty Briefing, Jeremy Dice. Thank you, sir. God bless, and please know that I'll be calling you to come back in the future. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ed.
All right, sir. Very interesting about our religious freedoms, our rights, and religious liberty here in this great United States of America. Right now, I'm going to open the door up and say, come on, give me a call. I want to hear from you folks. We've got a little time left this morning. I'm going to do a weather forecast, and then I would love to have you give me a call as kind of a send-off for this week going into the weekend and hear about any stories or subject matter that you want to talk about for the remainder of the program this morning. But right now, it is time for our weather, and the weather brought to you by Scarro's Meats in Jerome. All I can say, one word, delicious. 331 North Road, Jerome. Telephone number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. They've got all the breakfast sausages and the bratwurst. I love brats. Man, being from the Midwest, can't get enough of them. They got delicious bratwurst from Scarro's Meats. We're going to tell you more, but right now, here's the weather forecast.
Here is your weather for this Thursday as we get ready to saddle up and ride again. Partly cloudy skies for today, expecting a high of 82. Wind steady out of the west, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles an hour. Tonight we are expecting clear skies with a low of 54. Tomorrow, partly cloudy skies in the morning, followed by scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. Possible rain showers as well, about a 60% chance. Looking at a high of 66 with an overnight low of 46. And as we get on into the weekend on Saturday, mostly sunny skies, high of 69. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
There you you go. Brought to you by Scarro's Meats. Don Scarrow and the crew at 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657. Oh, yes, it's true. They're changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. All right. I'm telling you what I'm going to do. I feel big-hearted and generous. The first person that calls with the subject right now for the remainder of the program, I'm going to buy lunch at Lunch Bunch in a couple of weeks. And caller, you're the winner. You didn't even let me get a chance to say what I was going to do. Good morning. Who is this?
Oh, this is your young friend talking to an old friend.
Well, I'm going to buy your lunch. I was just going to say the first person that calls in with a subject, I will buy their lunch at Lunch Bunch. Man, you were like a vulture sitting on the tree limb.
Well, I haven't been working very much, so I need all the help I can get.
Okay.
All I was going to have this week at Lunch Bunch was water and crackers, but now I'll be able to eat something.
Oh, yeah, I can see. I'm afraid what that bill's going to be. Anyway, what's cooking, Doug?
Well, you're talking about the Relay for Life.
Yeah.
And the cancer.
Right.
And I want to debunk a couple things about people saying, well, I don't want to know, that's why I don't get tested, I don't want to know. Had I had that attitude, I would probably only be here about another 5 years.
Wow. So
I kept on top of it. I kept testing. And when it started rising, that's when I followed up. When they took care of it, it was all contained. I am 100% cancer-free. And that's how you beat cancer.
You know, Doug, let me ask you this. I have never honestly had anybody say that to me, that, oh, well, I don't want to know. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I don't want to go to a doctor. I don't want to hear the negativity. I haven't had anybody tell me that. I guess I must be living in somewhat of a medical bubble.
I have heard it from a few people. Not a lot, but a few. But if you stay on top of it, do your regular checkups, your blood work. In fact, there's a customer of mine who has dealt in insulation most all of his life.
Right.
And he smoked cigarettes.
Mm.
Well, he said, I had a double negative, and when he was in his 30s, he says, so he started doing an annual chest x-ray.
Right.
Well, when he was in his 40s, he said there was a tiny, tiny spot. So they kept on top of it every year.
Right.
And then it started to grow. Well, they went in. He had lung cancer. They took out the little lobe, and he said this was about 20 years ago. He says, and I'm good.
Well, the thing is, and I don't mean to make anything minimized, but I think you'll agree with me, whether it's cancer, whether it's a problem with a person's heart, to which I can relate to, whatever it might be, kidney disease, whatever, you must take care and be on the offense, not just sit on the defense.
Exactly. That's a lot of it. That's a lot of it. And my brother had a friend of his that had come up with cancer about 4 years ago. And he decided to try to do all these other little alternatives instead of doing the prostate operation. And he passed away just last winter.
My biggest fear right now, Doug, and I alluded to this when I was talking to Debbie Critchfield, and I think you'll agree with this statement also. I am sick and tired and mad at politicals that absolutely are thinking only of themselves and what it can do for their partisan politics, and they're not paying attention to the needs of the American public, i.e. Obamacare was a joke from the get-go. It needs to be thrown away. But the new healthcare system had dang sure better be right and set up so that people are not going to lose coverage and not going to be suffering from it. We need to develop something that's going to take care of people in this country, and I'm so worried that if they don't get this right and it goes to a single-payer type insurance program, we're going to see the end of all that is ethical with medicine in this country.
That's exactly it. We're going to have a healthcare system just like the VA.
Yeah.
And that's it. And when you don't hold people accountable for their actions, you get the VA. what's the problem.
Wheels, ride the gain over there, Wheels. I can't hardly hear him. You got to go up and down on that. Thank you. You know, you're right, and I compliment you for your openness and honesty on this subject. But I'm telling you what, as far as foot draggers and knuckle draggers in politics, shut up, sit down, do the job that you were hired for, or we're going to kick you out.
Exactly. And there's two deals here. If you have health care insurance, what's good is health care insurance if you can't use it?
Absolutely.
If you do not have good health care, you might have the best health care insurance that money can buy. But if you can't get good health care, what good is it?
Yeah, and you know, right now today, I said this the other day, and I'm almost out of time, but I want to say it to you. I do not care one bit about how much money doctors make. I couldn't care less if they're the richest people on the face of the earth, as long as they are there to protect and serve us and help our health care needs. Who cares how much money they make? I don't want the government to put ceilings on anybody in a capitalistic society and cut back on the coverage.
Well, a doctor will make what he is qualified to make. If he is that good, he'll make lots of money. If he's not that good, he won't make that.
But I don't want a healthcare system devised by politicians that's going to chase people out of the medicine industry.
Exactly, 100%. So everybody stay on top. There's tests, there's things you can do to stay on top of this.
All right, my friend. Hey, listen, I appreciate your call, and I will buy your lunch as long as you bring some redneck cup holders.
Oh, I think about that, and then I've got a couple other things I want to give away at lunch.
Okay.
But how many friends can I bring?
I don't care if you bring a whole herd.
All righty, sir.
All right, take care. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it. Very, very good guy right there. Hey, by the way, I want to remind you, too, about our friends at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, my goodness, you're going to be going here, there, and everywhere this summer. Well, at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, they always do the right thing because it matters. They're concerned about your driving safety. They have the best of tires for your pickups, your cars, your SUVs, horse trailers, boat trailers. And by the way, they also offer a free pre-trip safety check. That's right, a visual inspection of the tires and the tire wear and the wheel alignment, the front end components, brake components, shocks and struts, batteries, etc. They really care about your safe trip, and they want to make sure you get there and get home safely. So be sure and stop in and see them today. The best of brake service, front end alignments, all of this and more with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, of course the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. We're going to wrap it up and put it back in the box for this week and then open it up on Monday again at 8:06. We'll saddle the horse and ride for 3 hours right here on K-Bar, 12:30 a.m. And then also streaming live on the internet all over the world, ZebBell.com. And I thank you for all your calls. Thank you for all that you do to make this program number one. Thank you very much. Until Monday, remember, the way things were are the way things ought to be. Have a blessed weekend. We'll see you next week. Take care.